Hello and welcome everybody. It's Kerbal Space Endeavour here with episode 37. And what you see here is a flying spaghetti noodle trying to enter Eve's atmosphere. And this is the reason why my episode has been delayed by an entire week. So every night when I got home after work, I tried and tried and tried to get a vehicle going that will be capable of going into Eve's atmosphere, land, refuel, and get back up safe and sound with our crew on board. Well, insert random swear word of your liking, Eve. Eve's atmosphere is really thick, it is really high and very dense, and it is just a pain in the random swear word of your liking to get out of there. And yeah, I still haven't really built the best craft for it, but we will see. But let's just continue with the normal episode. The next thing that needs our attention is our Julian SATCOM mission. And this is on its merry way to Joule, and I set myself a maneuver node in case I want to change anything. And I actually made a new maneuver node that should get me very low around Joule. I think well, actually we can read this off right here. The atmosphere is 200 kilometers high, so I estimate maybe 180 kilometers will be high enough for us to do and aero braking. We're going to have a short encounter with Lathe, but it shouldn't really change too much to our course. So let's jump back here. I know this is a little bit laggy at the moment thanks to all of these parts here, but let's move up to our node right there, which is in 1 day, 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour. It's kind of hard doing this when the game tends to not do as you want it to do. And we're about 5 minutes away. Let's see and hope that our craft here turns as intended. And with a little bit of time acceleration, we can actually keep this turning of the craft interesting for show. And now we just need to burn and get into the atmosphere. Stop. Well, that's the best I can do for now, and yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's add another alarm clock for when our SO changes to... Does it count this SO change right here? Which would be in... Let's make it 60 hours before this happens, just in case. Okay, we have 2 markers here already. Oh no, actually... Hold on. Let's get rid of these again. Add SO change. Yes. 1 minute before. Okay. This is an SO change from Sun to Joule. Yeah, perfect. That will be in 1 year and 422 days. Yeah, it actually measures here. 1 year, 422 days. Okay, perfect. And the next thing that is supposed to be happening is our Dres manned mission. So let's start time warping. And as we watch the little marbles spin around, we actually have the next thing coming up, and this is our Dres manned mission. If you remember, we have multiple maneuver nodes set up to get home back to Kerbal as quickly as possible. And this is, I think, the second burn that we have to do to get into the... there you go. Yeah, it's the second burn that we need to do. And after a little bit of burn time here, you can see we get closer and closer to where we want to be. So we're going to set ourselves another marker just so we don't miss it. And start time accelerating again. And guess what? We have the next thing coming up. And the next thing is our Duna mission. Now this is pretty much the same mission that we already did for Eve, so I'm just gonna go and show a few bits and pieces here and there, and so yeah, to keep it slightly interesting. As you know, while developing my crafts for Eve, I actually managed to build a VTOL for Duna. So hopefully when the window for Duna arrives, I will not have to use up so much of my time to build crafts that are capable to fulfilling their tasks in or on Duna. So yeah, we ditched our excess fuel tanks, detach the main satellite dish, and have a beautiful shot of how it is aerobraking in the very, very thin atmosphere of Duna. As you can see, we're at 20,000 kilometers. No, not yeah, we were at 20 kilometers. Here we're at 15 kilometers, which is our periaps. As you can see, we're already rising again. This is the second stage already, so just you're a little bit confused why the craft has changed. As I said, I'm just skipping to the most scenic views that you can have right here. This is our Surveyor 1, if I'm not to be mistaken. And yeah, same procedure as we had on Eve. We're pretty much just waiting until we have connection again, and once we have that, we ditch our heat shield and turn on these wonderful small engines that take forever and are called ion engines. So yeah, setting up our network over Duna. However, why you're asking, we're here in the start menu, is the reason that, as you can see here, I have a lot of active flights at the moment, and it is slowing my game down, especially if I try to click on anything here on the map view. So, what I thought, well, we have a lot of satellites that I don't need anymore, and yeah, we're gonna crash them into the moon and Minmus as well. So I'm just gonna show a few bits and pieces here of what I did because it was a little bit of time consuming, and yeah, let's just watch a few bangs happen. There we go. The first one here, I believe, was on the dark side of the planet. Very boring, but I think we get some fireworks. Yay! Fireworks. So yeah, if you have a game and you have too many active flights, so forth, the game can actually slow down. So if you have any excess of vehicles you don't need, you can just try to delete them or crash them into planetary bodies. So yeah, let's move on. So, back about our mysterious planet Eve. We should finally be able to get some data back from here, so we're going to analyze the data. Analyze low resolution of the altimetry data. Alright, 84 science. Hooray! Let's send this over. And on the other side, we have the imaging data. Okay, multispectral sensors and log imaging data. UV and IR spectra recorded during solar occultation scans reveal high concentrations of carbon dioxide, methane, hydrogen sulfide, and water vapor in Eve's atmosphere. And somehow we're running out of electric charge. That is rather unfortunate. So we're gonna have to fast forward until we see the sun again. There we go. Now we have power and we can transmit that data. Now, while I was looking at this, I actually got a warning from Tech Life Support telling me that Shangri-La is running out of oxygen. Also, food and water are getting less and less by the minute. So, we will probably have to send up a shuttle to get some crew down and actually more refreshments up, but we'll see about that soon. One of the things we have to look at is the other surveyor. So here we are back again, and as you can see, Shangri-La is running out of oxygen still. It's nice that it gives me a warning constantly. Okay, where is our good thing? There we go. Analyze the data. Analyzed high-resolution altimetry data. Transmit. And maybe one last time we can take a look at the beautiful map as it unfolds. Thanks to time warping, we can actually skip ahead to where we see a lot of the map right here. And as you can see, we have a lot of plains, we have a lot of oceans here and there, we have a few mountains. And I can already talk about this because I tried landing on Eve before and I know how the terrain will be, but I don't want to skip too much of the excitement that will be the episode when we actually do try to make it to Eve and, most importantly, back again. Alright, so here over Duna we have another surveyor with some more science that we can analyze and transmit. This one is not really that interesting, but I'm interested to see what this one will say. Except that one. Log imaging data. An initial survey is conducted. Closer scans will provide a more detailed look at the surface. Definitely, once we actually go to Duna with a manned mission. So, also let's take a quick look for Duna and see if there's carbonite on Duna, and I want this time to be gray colored. So yeah, very interesting map, and there's actually some really interesting things right there. We have 1, 2, and 3 anomalies on the surface, which we will definitely have to figure out what they are. And we have lots and lots of carbonite here and there. There's actually quite a lot. There's like 7 per mil over here, which is really good. So a mission here to Duna will be a lot easier than it will be going to Eve, but we'll see about that in the near future. So, if we take a quick look into our map view, we have our missions coming up for Jewel, actually fairly close. The first one, the Layth Satcom mission, will be there in 311 days. Before that though, we will have another window for Kerbal to Eve, so we might start our Eve mission already, but I will have to think about that because there will be a lot of missions happening at the same time, and that's a little bit confusing, so we might wait another rotation before we're going to go to Eve, but we'll see. Now, back here at Kerbal, we're actually launching a new craft. Well, actually it's an old craft with a little bit alteration. As you can see, we removed all of the crew, and this is the Kerbal Shuttle 1. As you can see, Shangri-La is still running out of oxygen. I mean, we still have a few days left, but as planned, I want to remove all of the crew, refuel it, wait until it is time to build our fleet for Eve, and then launch again. So as you can see, I put a remote controlled guidance system in here, and with it we're gonna go back up to Shangri-La, extract the next crew members, and bring them back safe and sound for some vacation time back here on Kerbal, because our Eve mission is another 200 days away. However, if you have automated systems, they tend to do things a little bit wrong, and as you can see here, we had a little bit of an accident right here where we bumped into Shangri-La and it was starting to spin a little bit out of control. But thankfully I was smart enough to install some reaction control wheels on the station as well as RCS thrusters. So the second attempt was a lot slower and a lot more safe, and the computer actually made it. And if you're wondering why we're already taking off again, I skipped the part where we actually load the crew in because it's not that interesting and it kinda lags and is slow. So yeah, here we are, prepped and ready. We are taking 6 Kerbals back to Kerbal. And there we go, and leaving Shangri-La behind us. But yeah, as you can see, we had a safe landing, and this is already the next shuttle going back up. And this wonderful, also automated craft will take the last 4 Kerbals who are still on board Shangri-La back home for some downtime. But back on the ground, we still have to refuel some of Shangri-La's food supplements. And once again, I don't know what was wrong with me this episode, but it was a little bit careless with driving and flying, as it seems, and we kind of bumped there into our colony logistics hub. But yeah, nothing broke. Also, we're gonna use our behemoth again to start transferring some more metal, fuel, monopropellant, and everything else up to Shangri-La, so it's prepped and ready. So let's move ahead. One of the next things that our alarm clock is telling us is our ELU SATCOM mission, which I put a maneuver node in. So with a little bit of skipping ahead here, once again, we try to alter our trajectory to get as close as we can to ELU, because gravity of ELU is very low. The planet itself is very, very small, and it's pretty hard to get to actually, but I think at least our SATCOM mission will make it. How we're going to get to ELU with a manned mission, though, that will be interesting. But I think one of the best ideas will be if we start the mission from Joule. Okay, moving on. We have our Dres mission as promised. We have the next burn right here as promised, and that was a little bit too early. Let's just time warp a little bit. There we go. And now we can start accelerating again and getting ourselves down. As you can see, I'm going to go very, very low into a lower orbit than Eve to try to get to Kerbal as fast as we can. We would have had enough food and other life support, but I still want to get back home as quickly as possible. But let's see how this actually turns out here. There we go. After a lot of burning, you can see we're getting pretty close encounter here. Well, pretty close. I mean, we're already in the planet of Kerbal, and when you're so far away, the maneuver nodes tend to be really, really twitchy. But yeah, that's just the way the game is. Alright, we set ourselves another marker. Still, we have to... Oh, I kind of messed up here on the fuel, I guess. Transfer all of the fuel over, and then we can ditch the excess weight that we have right here. Beautiful! More debris flying in space. So yeah, back at Kerbal, the last crew of Shangri-La is finally arriving back home. And yeah, next episode we will start making things ready for Eve. I hope I can get it to work and the episode out as soon as I can. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.